Hi, everyone. Donna Smith here with Your Tech and More. And today is episode number 22 of the Path Forwards with Tech podcast. And I'm so glad that you are all here. Today, we're going to talk about a refresher topic, an add-on topic to a previous episode that I shot back in September. I refer to the September 18th 2025 episode that was titled Beyond Antivirus, the Full Software Suite for a Healthy and Secure PC. I will be including the link and the reference URLs below this video for information specific to that. But this is a follow-on episode because today I am going to be talking about specific ways to fix Windows operating systems, Windows devices, to do with fixing typical problems to improve PC or Windows devices. And the whole backbone, the reason why I am sharing this episode content today is that recently I discovered two free tools that I wanted to share with the community on this podcast. And so it's this recent learnings and the idea about adding on to what I previously recorded on a topic that is real similar to this. That is the whole backbone of episode number 22. So the title of this episode is Fix Windows Problems Fast. Free Revo, that's the name of the tool. Revo tools for deep cleaning. That is the title of this episode. And as I say, I'm going to be talking about from the same software company, which is Revo Group. And they are two free tools that focus on different Windows operating systems cleaning type functions. They do provide a deep clean in two specific areas that I'm going to be focusing on today for education. And these are installable tools. They don't run from your web browser. And these are actually installed tools on your device. And as I say, they're from the same company, Revo Group. And they are called Revo Uninstaller, free, and Revo Registry Cleaner, free. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to share screen here. And I want to start things off with actually doing like a show and tell for this. And the first thing I want to talk about are two traditional problems that a regular Windows user approaches in an incorrect manner, and that most PC users don't know anything about. And so that's why I'm bringing this information to you. And the crux of the problem has to do with we as Windows users, we regularly install programs of one type or another, and then sometimes we go and we uninstall them for whatever reason. Maybe we just don't need them any longer. We don't like the application, we don't like the tool, or we have stopped our subscription and we need to uninstall. Whatever the reason, we frequently uninstall a program. That is one of the problems that leads to a slow and unresponsive PC as running Windows. The other thing that is really a nebulous problem that most Windows users know nothing about, they're even scared to touch it or to find out more about it, is what's called the Windows Registry. And that is a frequent source of problems, unresponsive behavior by a PC, that when the Windows registry either gets corrupt or it has too many invalid entries in it, what have you, that inadvertently causes a bunch of problems. So those two Revo tools that I was just talking about, I'm going to show more about these in a minute, fix those common problems. And they are very easy to install and set up. We're going to actually run through all that today in this episode in a demo / show and tell kind of fashion. And the first thing I want to talk about is the traditional way of uninstalling a program. So I'm showing my screen here. This is a standard part of Windows called the control panel, where a bunch of either administrative required tools are housed or just the general PC user can access. And the tool that I'm referring to is under Programs and being able to uninstall a program. Now, this is the typical way, and I used to uninstall programs this way, okay? But this is the typical way to uninstall a program. So say, for instance, I wanted to uninstall Adobe Acrobat for whatever reason. Okay, so you'd go over and you click on this button to uninstall or change. I'm not going to do that, of course, because I don't want to perform that action. But I'm just showing you the basics as far as the way that the typical Windows user approaches an uninstall. Now, the problem is that this common tool, as it turns out, typically only uninstalls part of say that you're talking about a Windows Security Suite program. Say, if we're talking about, say, Bitdefender or one of the other popular antivirus secure PC kind of packages, those packages are extremely big. And the thing is that this uninstall program that comes with Windows typically only uninstalls parts of the program that you are working to uninstall. Namely, it uninstalls successfully major parts, but what's bad is that it leaves behind program files off of, I'll show that here in a minute as well. Here, let's show that next. So a typical place that programs install on is off of program files. This is just looking within the File Explorer tool. And this is a typical place where Windows applications are installed. Now, okay, so the problem is that if things go wrong with an uninstall where the program is not fully gone, is that remaining files are stored off of the folders directory in a location such as this. And the problem is that with those residual leftovers, sometimes Windows tries to automatically relaunch and install again, or at least if nothing else, it's just cluttering up your PC, taking up extra space, taking up extra, in this case, the C drive, which is the hard drive on this laptop, and typical on most Windows PCs, that it goes to the C drive. And the problem is that just causes it's wasteful use of the PC resources, slows everything down. And then what's also bad is that with these uninstalls that are not complete or not full, is that also there's a Windows registry problem that it goes along in parallel with all this, okay? And I'm not going to show you what the registry looks like. That isn't necessary for what it is that we're talking about today. But the idea of this Revo uninstaller application is that it's got a ton more features to it for doing uninstalls, and it completely erases all of those files that I was talking about that land in the program files that you could see within Windows Explorer application. The program also successfully uninstalls and cleans out the Windows registry for all of that stuff that should be gone for that uninstalled program. So these two tools together, Uninstaller and Registry Cleaner, take care of all of those problems for us. I just wanted to talk about the traditional way and the traditional problems to start us off of what's going on here. Now, the Registry Cleaner that I'm going to be talking about, Revo, is what's so great about it is that it's safe to use and accurate. And it also includes options to back up the registry before making any changes. And all of that is just done automatically for you as the end user of the tool. And what's bad is that even an inexperienced Windows PC user sometimes will want to go in. The traditional Windows tool is called Regedit. In fact, we'll go over right now and we'll do a search for that. Go ahead and do Regedit. Okay, and we'll go ahead and we'll open that just to show you what the registry editor looks like that comes by default in Windows. So this is where the traditional, if you're forced into normally without the Revo tool, this is the typical tool that you'd have to use to go in and actually manually edit details like this. And for most people, that's extremely cumbersome. It's extremely error prone. And what's bad with the Windows registry is if you screw something up, sometimes even small, in a small scale, your PC can become unbootable, unresponsive, and it's almost like it's a piece of trash. And it can't be really revived and recovered with ease. So the Windows registry is a delicate thing to have to deal with. And this Revo tool takes care of in a safe and secure manner for us as end users. It takes care of all of that registry cleanup. So that is what Regedit looks like. Okay. And so I apologize for this about the Revo tool. This is Windows operating systems, Windows PCs and devices only. These tools do not apply to Macintosh or, say, Linux users. So let's go over. And again, I'm going to have the URLs below this video. So just consume right now and take note of the URLs after you finish with this episode. But these are the URLs for the free tools. And what's great on the free plan, for a free, you don't even have to sign up for anything to get these applications. You just download them and then install them and then use them. Okay. So what's great about this, even with free, is that you automatically get regular upgrades. As far as I know, there's no limitations. You have full access to the tools, even free. Okay. Naturally, in both of these cases, they're trying to sell you something that is for pro version that requires payment. But I have found personally that isn't necessary. For either of these, the free tool is perfectly fine. So this is the download and the page area for the Revo uninstaller. And then here is the complimentary registry cleaner page where you can get that. And I'm not going to waste time going through. You can read these pages at your leisure and to get all the details more than what it is that I'm sharing with you here. So that is the idea about where you go over and you get your install packages. And then once that you go ahead and go through the exercise of installs, then you have the option to include desktop icons for both of these programs. So that's what it is that we've got here on the upper right-hand part of my screen. I've got the uninstaller icon and then the registry cleaner. So let's go ahead and take a little look here about what these tools look like and the particular areas that of the both that I personally have found to be the most beneficial. Number one is that with both of these tools online and also via the help file area for both of these, they have great on the website. They have great help site, separate help page site to give you more information about specifically how to use these tools. But I have also found that in general that help file, like for the Revo uninstaller, is sufficient because this is not a hard program to learn how to use. That's the bottom line. That's one of the things that I like about it. So you have multiple tabs here, and my favorite is the uninstaller tab and the tools tab. So let's talk about uninstaller first. Remember, I was talking about the typical Windows way of doing an uninstall off of Control Panel. Well, if you go in instead of trying to do an uninstall that way and you use this tool instead, all that you have to do is just click on this and click on uninstall. And this tool takes care of everything for you. It completely removes everything, and it does it in a safe fashion to maintain everything else that's on your PC. So it's a wonderful, wonderful complement for any Windows device. Okay. So that is point number one. I'm not going to do any uninstalls today, but I wanted to just show you the favorite tabs, the great areas of this tool. And then number two is this tools area. Now, some of these I personally haven't tried out yet, but my favorite is this junk files cleaner. If nothing else, I recommend that you include as part of your, and again, I reference you back to the September 18th issue or episode of this podcast series, because I go into depth about, number one, all of the recommended majority free tools that I recommend that you have part of your regular routine regiment to scrub and clean your PC. Well, one of those now is this Revo tool, the Revo uninstaller. I recommend that you include use of this tool, use of this junk files cleaner as part of your daily regiment. And the way that you use this is to click on this icon, click on scan, and then you can click on delete. And you won't believe the number of files that Windows accumulates that can easily be deleted, safely be deleted. Yeah, all that they're doing is just taking up extra space on your C drive. And it doesn't make any sense for us to be keeping that stuff around. So at a minimum, every day, even if you're not uninstalling something or maintaining your system with this tool in other fashions, at a minimum, I recommend daily that you click on this junk files cleaner and you utilize that part of your system, in your system clean. All right. So that's number one that I wanted to show, was the Revo uninstaller. It's like I say, it's extremely simplistic, but that's good for the majority of PC users out there. This is a great supplement tool to help keep your PC fast, clean, and efficient. Okay. The other one I wanted to talk about is this Revo registry cleaner. Now, this is, you have to go in and do just a little tiny bit of setup. And the best thing to do for that is to go over here off of options. And then you've got several tabs here for different features of the tool that you want to have applied every time that you go in and use it. So you want to, after you first install this and click on the icon to launch this program, I recommend that you go over to options and that you customize and set these things up the way that you want. Okay. And so the main thing that you want to do here, and again, all this is free, and it's extremely accurate, and it doesn't cause any corruption problems for cleaning the Windows registry in a safe way and an easy way for us. So if you click on Quick Clean, that will automatically create a backup before it does any cleaning with any issues that it finds in a quick fashion, a quick scan of your Windows registry. And so this is a great way to get started with the registry cleaner, is to go ahead and click on this. And then they've got more at I recommend three more advanced forms of doing a scan and then a clean. Now, with these other three types of scans that are all more deep analysis of potential problems with your registry, they each, in a subsequent fashion, dive deeper into the registry to find problems and then ultimately fix them. That's the whole idea of this green, blue, and red icons. And so with these three, you have the option to do a backup of your Windows registry before executing any scans and cleans that this tool will do. And so I recommend that you do that you do the backup first. With this quick clean, it's automatic. But with these other three types of scans of the registry, you have to check that box yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and show that. So I'm just clicking on Advanced Scan, and so it's got some invalid entries. You go ahead and you can go in and you can look at what the registry problem is. And then you can you can select them all for doing a clean. You can go ahead and click on Select All, and then we can click on Clean. In this case, there were 12 problems that the registry cleaner found. So if we click on Clean, all right, so this is where I was talking about that you have the opportunity to create a backup and a restore point. So you want to click on this create a full registry backup, and then also the restore point. You want to go ahead and do that for these, okay? And then we click on yes, and it goes ahead and takes care of that operation for us, okay? Now the restore point takes a little bit of time, and so that's why it's working away there. And so while this is progressing along here, we'll just kind of work on getting this episode content closed out. So the main thing that you wanted, I hope that I've clearly shown why, where, and how these two tools can really be of great benefit for any level of Windows user. Okay, so it took care of the operation and it deleted those 12 items, okay? So you can do that. You want to do that at least one time a day for running these tools, and it's a great regular part of your regime to help maintain your PC and have it respond well, not hang and all of those kind of nasties that can happen with PCs. And again, I recommend that you go back. You can re-review that September episode that I mentioned, and then augment that process of adding in these two other tools. So I already talked about the uninstaller tool that I recommend that you clean those junk files. Go ahead and do the scan and then the delete for those. And then also once a day, running this registry cleaner, like in the advanced scan mode, and cleaning all that out. And I recommend that you do that like the other tools in my Beyond Antivirus episode that I recommend, is that you run those tools, that process, at the beginning of every day that you are using your PC. And then that way, your PC is clean, it's responsive, and everything hums like clockwork for your hardware. And that's what makes a happy Windows PC user, when you don't have all that slowness, you don't have a bunch of extra files sitting on your C drive that don't belong there. It's a great package. These two tools used with the rest of the tools in the tool suite is a great package to use. And the majority of what it is I've shown here in this episode and then back in September are all free. There is one exception, that Bitdefender security suite. But if I recall, everything else is free. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is an augmented part of that process that I had shared with you back in September. One of the tools that I talked about was this ccleaner.exe. And what I recommend now with this, in the advent now of this registry cleaner tool by Revo, is that we only use part of the features with ccleaner than what I recommended before. So what I recommend is that you do the scan PC, that you run that part of the scan, do all of that cleanup, because that is also beneficial for helping to keep your PC clean. And then instead of going over to tools and doing the registry, I don't recommend that you do registry clean this way anymore. Instead, I recommend that you use that Revo registry cleaner tool for doing registry cleanup. Okay. So I don't recommend that you do anything with free CC cleaner on this tools tab. Instead, go right over to custom clean and do the analysis and the run cleaner to go ahead and do any background cleaning that can be done on this side of the cleanup and maintenance part for your PC. So those are the pieces for changes in the process, and also a full review of these two new tools that I am referring you to. And I'll go ahead and stop share. So I hope that you have found this episode of benefit for you, and that I do recommend you can get all the URLs down below this video. And I recommend that you check all this out, and that you augment your process for cleaning of your PC, maintaining it well, and adding in these two new free Revo tools. I mean, they are wonderful. They're fast. They don't take up much on resources on your PC, and they work just great, and they're safe. That's why I'm recommending them to you, is that they are safe. So I hope that you have enjoyed this episode, and that you have learned a lot on additional tools for your toolbox, for your Windows toolbox. And I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode of the Path Forged with Tech podcast. And until next time, keep safe out there, and keep your PC clean. And I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day or rest of your evening. Take care.